So in my last video, I looked at England's players' chances of getting into the British and Irish Lions as it stands right now, before the Six Nations have started. Your feedback was, good idea, but do it for the other three nations. So absolutely, that's what I'm going to do. So welcome to this video, once again supported by Sports News Blitz, amazing podcast and a YouTube channel, often interviewing commentators, which is an interesting take, so check them out. Let's get into Ireland. And there's a new category in this video, and that's guaranteed. I probably should have had it in the last one. So I've got guaranteed going, high chance, moderate chance, outside chance, and virtually no chance. Maybe I should have just been brave and said no chance. But anyway, for Ireland, quite a small bunch actually, with virtually no chance as it stands right now. You could say Rob Herring's got a number of caps, but I really don't see it. Maybe someone has a big tournament possibly. Henderson's obviously been a Lion before, but I really don't see it, so I'm saying no chance there. And in the comments, let me know where you disagree, because I'd love to know your thoughts. In outside chance, I've included a guy there in italics who is not playing in Ireland, Harry Byrne, who's making a big impact with Bristol. Bristol needed him. He's taken the opportunity to get starts under his belt so that he wasn't getting, or he thought he wasn't going to get at Leinster. And maybe there's an outside chance he could come into it, but it's still an outside chance. Cian Healy's got amazing experience. Maybe he should be higher, but I don't know, just a bit old potentially to tour. Gus McCarthy is a Duke crew. They've got amazing potential, but as it stands right now, we haven't seen it, but I think they could have a particularly decent tournament. Peter Amani, I've actually just moved him up because I don't think he's going, but he's got so much experience. Previous Lion, of course. I think he could have a chance, so let's put him in moderate. And I actually did the same for Conor Murray, bumping him up into moderate because they've got so much history with the Lions. Jimmy O'Brien's very talented. He can play a number of positions, so I guess there's an outside chance. And Cian Prendergast could have an amazing tournament. As it stands, those guys very unlikely to go. Then into the moderate chance, there's quite a few. Bealham, I could see going, to be honest. He's not starting for Ireland, but Ireland probably the best of those four nations that make up the Lions, and he could well go even as the second choice tie head potentially. James Ryan, I see just below a couple of others in the pecking order of second row, so he drops into moderate. Brian Baird needs more game time. Conan's just come back, could make a charge. Frawley, the Farrell could like him for his versatility. Crowley and Prendergast, I've got them in moderate, not any of them in high, just because we don't really know who's going to be the top dog. Who becomes top dog early on probably would then pop up into high chance if they're starting for Ireland. Crowley looked good in the Champions Cup. Prendergast, his skills are amazing, his kicking's amazing. Crowley's a better runner, so keeping them in moderate for now. Nash, I think, actually is in moderate, not outside chance, because he's so good. If he gets that start for Ireland, I think he's the real deal. I've just watched him in the Champions Cup and he is, top quality, so much pace, it's unbelievable. Yeah, he could be one of those dark horses. On to high chance, and actually not so many, because I think there's so many guaranteed actually. I've been bold, I put a big guaranteed category there. Kelleher, just because when Sheehan's back fully fit, he's not quite number one. Could bump him down a little bit, but I think he's got a great chance of going. Henshaw, because he doesn't always start, is down there, but he's versatile as well. Hanson, Lowe, Osborne, I all think have great chances. I know Hanson and Lowe probably will be the starting wingers, but there's lots of good wingers, lots of competition from the likes of Scotland particularly, so they're not quite guaranteed. I mean, Lowe, you'd say would go, but he's not the quickest. He can have mistakes, although he's so strong, great over the ball. Osborne, I think, does have a high chance, not moderate, because he can play fullback and both positions in the centre, and I think he'll be a big player for Ireland at some point. And of course Farrell knows about these players, and that's what helps Ireland, is that players that haven't played so much, Farrell still knows how good they are. And I could see Osborne going as a bit of a dark horse, not that I'd bet, but he could be one of those guys, one of those bolters potentially. And then onto the guaranteed slot, and I'm just going for it. I am saying Porter, Sheehan, Tyburn, Doris the captain obviously, Van der Fleer, former World Player of the Year, Gibson Park, Keenan, Furlong I still think is guaranteed to go even though he's a bit older. Joe McCarthy, there's lots of competition, but I still just think he's going, so he's guaranteed. Aki's Power, Ringrose as the outside centre. I think they're all going. I think they are nailed on. Let me know if I'm being too bold there, if anybody should be dropped down or up. But that's how I see Ireland. Now going on to Wales, and no surprise, the picture is very different. The virtually no chance category for me is massive. There are some talented players in there who, if they play well in the Six Nations, and Wales play pretty well, they could put themselves in with a chance. For example, Eddie James, I think, could be fantastic, but we haven't seen enough of him yet. Hopefully he starts, hopefully Gatland goes with that talent, but I've got a feeling he'll go with the likes of Tompkins and Watkin. But yeah, Eddie James and Dan Edwards hopefully will be starting for Wales, because I think he's the most talented one there. They haven't taken Anscombe, so you might as well then go with the most talent. So if he has a good tournament, maybe he has an outside shot, but I still don't really see any of these guys going. So into the guys who have a chance and an outside chance, maybe Gareth Thomas as a loose head, Schwinzer as a guy who can play back row and second row, but there are a lot of those. Faletau has to be in there, even though he never really seems to be able to play because of injury. Back rows can always catch the eye, both from Rafael. Josh Adams could recapture some form. He's looking pretty good for Cardiff, so I think that's an outside shout. Williams isn't any higher. Liam Williams, yes, of course, he's a former Lion and has scored some amazing tries and been amazing for the Lions, but he is so much slower than he used to be, and Farrell will know that, but still an outside shot if you want experience. Then on to the moderate chance, Jenkins, Rowlands, Wainwright and Lake. Lake could have been in with a high chance if he'd been selected for this squad, but the fact he's injured again, I think just bumps him down, and if other hookers play well in this tournament, I don't think he goes. If he played decently in this tournament, he has a great chance of going, so massive shame for him. Jenkins and Rowlands are good second rows, but still, I don't see their chances high, as I think there's better. Maybe Wainwright could be a bit higher potentially, but again, so much competition. Then only two guys in high chance, Captain Morgan and Thomas Williams. Thomas Williams, the closest to guaranteed, but he's not guaranteed, but he's, I think, their best player in form. Morgan, I think, is good enough to go, but the competition is really fierce. And guaranteed, there is no guaranteed player going for Wales at the moment. So Morgan, Williams, if they have good tournaments, I can see two going on the Lions at the moment. Maybe one of those other guys from moderate potentially, but it could be as low as two for Wales with Lake out. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Am I being too harsh? Then finally on to Scotland, and virtually no chance is the list here. Again, some talented players. Fergus Burke's come into the squad. He's looked good for Saracens, but surely he's going to be third choice and hardly get any minutes anyway. Man's got potential, but at the moment, no chance. So I don't really see any of those guys going unless there's some massive run of injuries potentially, or someone has a stormer. But in with an outside chance, Scott Cummings has been very reliable for Scotland. I think there's better players ahead of him, but again, injuries could happen, and he's shown he's reliable. He probably could do a job. Batty, Dempsey, Ritchie the same. Hutchinson is good enough, but he doesn't get game time for Scotland. Tom Jordan is a dark horse. At the moment, he's an outside shot, but a player who could play 10 and 15 and probably will get some game time. He's one to watch, so he could climb up during the championship. Only two I saw in moderate, and that's the returning Johnny Gray to the squad. He's got class oozing out of him when he plays well. And again, there's lots of players ahead of him, but if he gets a start or two, plays well, he could climb up. So I think with his quality, he has to be in moderate. I really like George Horn as a 9. If you want an explosive 9, a super quick 9, then he is your man. So if they want that sort of player, he could go maybe even above Ben White, if that's the sort of player they're after. If they want, an all-rounder who's got an all-round game, they're really experienced, then Ben White would be the man. So he's in a high chance, along with all those other guys. Ashman, hasn't had a lot of caps under his belt, but is so the number one for Scotland now that he has to have a high chance. Darge, the starting 9. Fageson's going to be in the back row somewhere. Gilchrist, their best second row, has to have a decent chance. Schoeman could have been guaranteed. Let me know if you think Schoeman is guaranteed. I was umming and erring, but because I was umming and erring, I put him down there. Graham's got to be close. Hugh Jones is so good enough to go, but Ringrose could take a place. Maybe Henshaw goes as a 13, so I just can't guarantee it. Same with Kinghorn and Van der Merwe. So close to guaranteed, I'd say, but not quite. So into the guaranteed group, Xander Fagerson is definitely there. He's a class tight head, world-class tight head. By far the best tight head in Scotland's squad. If they lost him, it would be big problems. Same with Finn Russell. He is so going. Probably going to start, but maybe not guaranteed to start, but he's guaranteed to go, as is the new Scotland captain, Sione Tuipulotu, playing 12 or 13 as well, which helps, and he's a leader now, and his form has been so high for so long, there is no way, if he's fit, he is going. Anyway, that's how I see everyone's chances from the 4 nations involved in getting into the British and Irish Lions. Tell me where you agree or disagree. And after each round of the 6 nations, I'm sure I'll be back saying who's improved their chances and who's dropped down. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do like, do subscribe, drop over those comments down below, and I'll catch you next time.